Hello, my dear friends. I'm about to give you a free gift. It's a sample video from my patreon.com site, and it is a mini mentoring session. You'll get one of these every Friday, just as a little teaser, a little taste to see what it would be like to get one of these 5 days a week. If you decide you'd like to have one of these mini mentoring sessions 5 days a week, ad-free, go to A Better Life with FlyLady Kat at patreon.com, patreon.com, and sign up. It's only $5 a month. You get 20 videos a month, and they are designed to give you a kick in the pants first thing in the morning. It's set up so that you can see them first thing, so you can watch them in bed even before you get going. It's designed for payroll and at-home homemakers, and it will help you with the way you think about the way you're doing life and doing the FlyLady system. So I hope that you go over and check out my Patreon site. While you're there, look at all of the other opportunities that I have for you for mentoring. We do personal one-on-one mentoring. There are different levels of that. And also I offer this year in 2022, financial mentoring. So if you need a budget, if you would like to be financially independent, now's the time to sign up for that as well. Okay, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the video. Patrons, today our title is Paying Your Own Way. And that's really about achieving financial independence and not being dependent financially. If you have debt and you have a problem paying your bills on time and you don't have any kind of a savings account, then I would say that you are financially dependent. And what I mean by that is your mental status is that of a teenager, that you think someone else is going to take care of you forever. That's not the truth. The truth is you are responsible. So I'm making this financial video because you ask for these over and over again to kind of bring you to the point where you can snap out of this and say, you know what, I am independent. I am in charge. So the thing that I want you to do is think about your financial goals, just like we think about goals in our home, the things we want to do in our home, by the end of the year, what we want it to look like, or by the end of the month, etc. What I'd like you to do is sit down with a pencil and paper and write down all of your debt, all the things you owe money on, and then write down all the things that you pay every month just to live. Your gas, your lights, your water, your mortgage, your insurance, things that just have to be paid, groceries, etc. But those debts that you have, I want them to be separate. And then I want you to start having some goals. First of all, let's talk about small goals. Are you overspending in areas that are dependent on you, that are regular bills, like groceries, gasoline, electricity, things that you can control somewhat? Are you being responsible in those areas? Ask yourself that question honestly. Your answer may be absolutely, and your answer may be, you know, I could do a little better on the groceries, or we're spending too much money for superfluous things like going out to eat or buying, going through the drive-through, etc. And by the way, that section of your list should be separate as well, and that would be extras, going out to eat, things like that. Okay, that would be extras, entertainment and dining out. So now you're going to look at your absolutes and say, okay, these are absolute. These are in the absolutes, but they're wishy-washy. I can move them a little bit, and that would be food, gas, electricity. You can control that by being more careful. I don't want you to be so careful that you don't enjoy life. I want you to be more careful, or careful somewhat, if you haven't been careful at all, if you've been careless, okay? I don't want you to I don't want anybody to ever be in financial prison in their life where they feel like they can't do anything fun. You need to plan for fun as well, but it is a discipline, okay? So if you say, I'm not going to spend anything, and you can totally do that, but it's like subsistence living, that is no way to live, okay? So look at your money and say, what can I control? And then what of that money is just regular amounts, and then put that in your plan. Now, things like lights, you might want to call your electrical company and your light company, whatever it's called, utilities, and see if they can give you an average monthly bill. And then you know exactly how much it's going to be every month this year. And then next year they'll have to reevaluate how much you've been really spending, and so they can give you the same bill every month. That's a way to help you control your income, your outgo. All right, then we're going to talk about your bills. So let's have some goals for your bills. Ideally, where would you want to be on those debts, those loans, those things that you've borrowed money for? Where would you want to be this time next year? Now, that's not your mortgage right now. That's your car payment and any personal loans that you've taken, household loans, things like that, credit cards, these things. So where do you want to be this time next year? And if it's your car loan and you've got a 5-year loan and you're on year 2 and you have a lot of other debt, just move it over to the regular bills like mortgage, because you're not going to be able to pay that off this year. But of some of these, you might be able to chink them down, really get rid of them. And we're going to do the snowball plan. And the snowball plan is that you take the very smallest debt that you have and you work on paying that off. So maybe you can only add an extra $10 a month, but maybe you can add $100 a month and you get that paid off. So let's say that it's $1,000 that you owe, and you're going to put an extra $100 a month on it, and you're already paying $50 a month. So you're now paying $150 a month instead of $50 a month and dragging it out forever. So at the end of the year, you will have paid it off, because in 10 months, it would be $1,500 that you paid in this example. Yeah, $1,500. So I'm not going to do the math right now, but it's a lot less than 10 months. But let's just say you got that paid off, okay? And at the end of the year you have, or let's say it's the middle of the year and you have an extra now, $150, because you already had a $50 payment and you put an extra 100 with it. So now, you know what, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that. I'm not going to restart this video. I'm just going to change it so it's easier to do in the math. Let's just say it's a $50 bill for a loan that you have for $1,000, okay? And you decide you're going to pay $50 extra, so it's $100. Then by October, if you start this month in January, by October, it will be paid off, or close to paid off, because there'll be interest. So in October, or maybe November, you're going to have an extra $100 a month, the extra $50 that you were able to put on that debt, plus the $50 that you paid. So now you have an extra $100. So now we're going to go to the next smallest amount, and we're going to pay that one off and add an extra $100 a month. So where will that put you at the end of the year? You'll have one paid off and one on the way to being paid off. And I don't know how many debts you have or how big they are, but this is where we start. We start by doing this. And then when you get to the point, in several years, maybe in a year, but when you get to the point where you've got them paid down so that you have kind of some equal ones, let's say you have 2 credit cards and one's charging you a higher interest rate than the other, and they're both about the same amount due, then I would pay off the higher interest rate. So if you've got 2 things that are the same amount, pay off the highest interest rate item first, okay, for these things. All right, and then so you have to have like a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan of when these things are going to get paid off. In the meantime, as I said, you can't have subsistence living. So you don't want to have no money to do anything for all these years that you're paying off debt. You still have to have vacation and personal spending and all those things. They're just going to be less. So you're going to be living with less. You're not going to have that much extra to just say, oh yeah, I can give $50 to that. Oh yeah, we can go there. Oh sure, pick me up one. You can't do that anymore. You have to say, oh, you know what, I'm fine. I'm fine. Because you know that you're going to go out with your husband and have dinner once a week or once a month or whatever your budget calls for. When somebody says, hey, do you want me to pick you up a pizza? I'm going to go pick one up for myself. And you say, oh no, honey, I'm going to make a homemade pizza. I already have it planned, thanks. Or whatever, okay? All right. But I still want you to have a new blouse once in a blue moon. You know, not every month and not 6 of them, but one little thing will make you feel better once in a blue moon. Maybe every quarter you buy yourself a little new shirt. And maybe you can't afford to go to Macy's. Maybe you need to go to Goodwill to get that new shirt, but you can find them there. and you're allowing yourself, depending on your budget, to do something to brighten up your wardrobe. Okay, so I don't want you to feel like you're just living just hand to mouth. I want you to have some wiggle room, something. And I also want you to have one of your debts that is savings. It's a debt to yourself. So you're going to have the financial responsibility of saving money for yourself. Okay, so whatever that means to you, if it's $25 a month, whatever it means to you. Now, at some point, you're going to get to the end of all your debt. And then you're going to say, okay, now I've got all this extra money every month. Yeehaw! No, that's not what you're going to say. You're going to say, okay, now I'm going to say, I'm going to give myself and my husband a little bit more spending money. I'm going to increase my groceries a little bit because that's been hard. And then I'm going to save more for vacation this year. And I'm going to save more for Christmas and birthdays, just a little bit more. And then all the rest are going to an emergency fund or a special fund for a new car that we're saving for. So I have an emergency fund and a special fund for a new car. So you figure out how you're going to split that up. And then every month when your bills come in, you say, okay, $100 goes to my savings account, $50 goes to my Christmas account, $75 goes to my emergency fund or my new car fund or whatever it is. Maybe it's a whole lot more, but that's what you do, okay? That's how you do it. And I'm giving you just little odd examples, and I know that you can make it work for you in a better way. I'm just giving you examples. So my bottom line on this video is that I want you to know that you're responsible. No one else is going to fix this for you. No one else. You're going to fix it for you. And you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So you can do this, and it's the right thing to do. If you can sit down and have a conversation with your husband about this and you can be on the same page, God bless you. That's so good. Most couples don't agree. I'm just saying. They agree in the overall thing, but the details of it, it's hard for them to agree. So one of you needs to be taking it over. Either you or your spouse, and it's up to you who does that. You and your spouse decide that. And you just make sure that we're on the same page about paying these debts off and having savings and no longer being the victim and having everyone have to take care of you and borrowing from your mother-in-law or your father, because you're short this month. We're going to stop that, and we're going to start being grown-ups and taking care of ourselves, okay? I hope this was helpful. I hope that you remember that you can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens you. And I hope that you know that I love you and that I think you're beautiful. So you go ahead and be beautiful while you're doing this.